10 murder victims who helped solve their own cases. Welcome back to TwistedTales, where we explore mysteries that blur the line between the living and the unknown. Tonight's episode is different. These are stories of victims whose cases might have gone cold, if not for something extraordinary, whether you believe in fate, intuition, coincidence, or something beyond explanation. These 10 cases will leave you wondering, can the truth really refuse to stay buried? Turn down the lights, and let's begin. Number 10. The Ghost of Fred Fisher. Our first story takes us to 1826, Campbelltown, Australia. Frederick Fisher was a well-known farmer. Reliable, respected, ordinary. Until one day, he disappeared. His neighbor, George Worrell, claimed Fred had left town suddenly. Strangely, he also claimed Fred had transferred ownership of his farm to him before leaving. That raised eyebrows. Months passed. No word. No sightings. Then one night, a local man named John Farley was walking near a creek when he saw something he would never forget. He later claimed he saw Fred standing silently, pointing toward the water. Startled, John told others, and though many doubted him, they searched the area. Near the creek, they discovered remains buried in a shallow grave. Confronted with the evidence, George Worrell confessed. Legend says Fred appeared to ensure the truth surfaced. Whether ghost or guilty conscience, justice followed. And this was only the beginning. Number 9. Zona Heaster Shue. Message, West Virginia, 1897. Elva Zona Heaster Shue was newly married when she was found deceased in her home. Her husband claimed she had suffered a sudden illness. The coroner ruled it natural causes. But Zona's mother, Mary Jane, felt something wasn't right. She later claimed her daughter appeared to her in vivid dreams, explaining her death had not been an accident. Mary Jane was so convinced, she demanded an autopsy. Authorities reluctantly agreed. The results revealed injuries inconsistent with natural causes. Zona's husband was arrested, tried, and ultimately convicted. To this day, it remains one of the only cases in U.S. history where testimony about a dream played a role in reopening an investigation. A mother's intuition, or something more. Number 8. Teresita Basa, Chicago, 1977. A fire broke out in an apartment building. When it was extinguished, firefighters discovered the body of Teresita Basa, a hospital respiratory therapist. Investigators struggled for leads. Meanwhile, across town, Teresita's former co-worker's wife began experiencing unusual episodes. During these trance-like states, she claimed to speak in Teresita's voice, naming a co-worker as responsible, and stating jewelry had been taken. Skeptical, but with no other direction, police investigated the named individual. They discovered jewelry belonging to Teresita in his possession. Confronted with evidence, he confessed. Whether psychological phenomena or coincidence, the information led to justice. Number 7. The Boy from the Golan Heights. In a small village, a young boy began telling his parents he remembered a previous life. He described being harmed by someone he knew. He even led villagers to a location where skeletal remains were later discovered. Authorities were notified. An investigation followed. A suspect eventually confessed. Many debated whether this was reincarnation, suggestion, or coincidence. But for the family of the deceased, answers finally came. Number 6. Ashley Howley. Ashley disappeared after a difficult breakup. Investigators suspected her former partner but lacked evidence. Years later, a psychic medium contacted authorities, claiming she had visions revealing where Ashley's remains could be found. With little else to pursue, law enforcement searched the indicated area again. This time, they discovered her remains. Faced with mounting evidence, the suspect confessed not only to Ashley's death, but to additional crimes. Whether guided by insight, luck, or something unexplained, the case was finally closed. Number 5. Catherine Belief. Catherine's passing shocked her community. Investigators collected forensic evidence, but early leads were limited. During the mourning period, her mother later said she heard a name repeated in her thoughts, a nickname known locally. Police looked into the individual. Forensic testing eventually linked him to the scene. He was convicted. Sometimes grief sharpens instincts, and sometimes those instincts lead somewhere important. Number 4. The Red Barn Murder, England, 1828. Maria Martin disappeared after planning to meet William Corder at a red barn. Corder later claimed they had but Maria's stepmother began having persistent dreams of Maria buried in the barn. Eventually, Maria's father searched the location. Her remains were found concealed there. William Corder was arrested and convicted. The case became one of Britain's most famous 19th-century trials. Dream, suspicion, or subconscious awareness. History still debates. Number 3. Nadine Hogue, Sydney, 2009. Nadine was found deceased in her apartment. Initially ruled her family questioned the ruling. They noticed inconsistencies, details that didn't align. Years later, markings discovered in the apartment reignited suspicion. The case was reviewed, though definitive legal conclusions remained complex. Sometimes unresolved questions echo louder than answers. Number 2. Amarjit. In 2003, Amarjit Chauhan and his family were tragically killed in a calculated crime. Authorities struggled to piece together what had happened. When Amarjit's body was later recovered, investigators discovered something unexpected inside his clothing, a piece of mail. It was a small but critical clue connected to one of the perpetrators. That evidence helped unravel the entire plot and led to multiple convictions. Even in captivity, he had left behind a message, a final act of courage. Number 1. A blogger's final post. In the late 2000s, Simon Ng was blogging from his apartment when an unwanted visitor arrived. His sister's former partner, Simon documented his discomfort in real time. Those posts became the final public record before tragedy struck. Investigators later used the timestamps and content to reconstruct the events of that day. The digital trail provided key evidence in court. In the modern world, even a blog can become testimony. So what do these stories tell us? Are they tales of the supernatural, or reminders that truth leaves traces, no matter how carefully someone tries to erase them, whether through intuition, technology, evidence, or coincidence? Justice has a way of surfacing, sometimes slowly, sometimes unexpectedly, but almost always, eventually. If this story gave you chills, let us know what you think. Do you believe some of these victims truly reached back for justice, or were these simply remarkable twists of fate? If you enjoyed tonight's episode of Twisted Tales, like, follow, and share for more stories that live in the shadows of history. Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, and remember, sometimes the quietest voices are the hardest to silence.